Hi everyone, my name is Lydia and this is what I wish they taught me about econometrics and introduction. We've now seen two distinct formulas for the f-test, one using the sum of squares, one using r squared. In this video, we'll show step by step how you can get from the first formula to the second. So that means you don't have to memorize the formulas, you can get to there as long as you know the basic relationships that are shown through the f formula. Nothing new will be introduced in this video. We're just only rewriting and showing the algebra behind everything so that you don't get stuck at any point in case you blank out and don't remember the r squared formula, for instance, in an exam. So without further ado, let's show the algebra behind the formulas and how do we get from one to the other. The first formula that you might want to remember, because this is where everything starts from basically, is that the f-test is ESS scaled by the number of the regressors here divided by the RSS scaled by the leftover of the degrees of freedom. Okay? So it came directly from the definition of the f-test, comparing explained variation per regressor to unexplained variation per degree of freedom. So this, yes, you might want to remember. What else might you want to remember? Well, the formula for the r squared itself, this you might want to remember. And this is the explained sum of squares divided by the total sum of squares, because by definition, the r squared was telling us how much of the variation in the y is explained by the model that you came up with. From here, you can then use a bit of information that the ESS itself is actually r squared times the TSS. So nothing new. We're just using the information that you know and things that you should be remembering based on the definitions. So now let's add the last relation, the last definition that you should also not forget, and that is that TSS is equal to the ESS plus RSS. And using all three now, let's get to the formula that we're aiming for. Starting from the TSS plus ESS plus RSS, if we divide everything by TSS, we are not really changing the value of this equation. We can then rewrite it as 1 being equal to ESS over TSS plus RSS divided by TSS. From here, we can see and use this second identity that we had and substitute ESS divided by TSS with r squared, which means that now we are going to have 1 being equal to r squared plus RSS divided by TSS. From here, we can rearrange it all over again and write this as RSS divided by TSS being equal to 1 minus r squared. If we multiply both sides by TSS, then RSS is going to be equal to 1 minus r squared times TSS. Okay? So I've got RSS as a function of TSS, and then from the second identity here, I have ESS as a function of TSS and r squared. So now that we have both elements of the f-test, meaning the ESS and the RSS, as functions of r squared, it means we can substitute them in and see how we can get to a formula that depends only on r squared instead. So keep in mind, using, again, this identity, and this identity was also that we could isolate from there an expression of the ESS and an expression of the RSS as a function of r squared and TSS. Now that we have achieved that, we can write our F statistic as the ratio of r squared divided by TSS, r squared times TSS divided by k, and then we're going to have 1 minus r squared, all of it multiplied by TSS, divided by n minus k minus 1. It's very easy to see from here that we can cancel out the TSS from this ratio, and we're going to be left with what we had as the second formula, r squared divided by k, 1 minus r squared divided by n minus k minus 1. So this is why the F statistic can be written purely in terms of the r square, and this is the second formula that you can get to yourself without having to remember everything by heart, starting for the F test. There is one more additional formula for the F test, but we're going to save that for another video, once we also start giving more examples of what kind of tests or how do F tests actually look like. I hope this was helpful, and I hope it gives you an idea of like the many things that we can and we cannot do with the F tests, especially now given that we have so many formulas to use. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.